Hi, my name is Amanda Turner. In this presentation, I am going to address capital punishment in America. How do you feel about capital punishment? Think about it. Your next door neighbor right over there, right there, next to where you're sitting, is a serial killer and has done it several times as a repeat offender. How would you feel about letting your kids around this person, yourself, leaving your house, going to work and coming back home? How would you feel? Would you feel safe? I wouldn't. Given proper parameters, corporal punishment can keep the crime rate reduced in given extreme circumstances. I do understand that some offenders are legitimately not the offender but are persecuted as such, and a full screening would have to be completed before the offender is put on the death row. Per the Clark County prosecuting attorney, capital punishment is the, quote, ultimate punishment in our society that has to offer by committing murder with aggravating circumstances present, end quote. The county prosecuting attorney stands by the capital punishment, quote, along with 2/3 of the American public, end quote. There are several government roles in this. Individual states' responsibility through the due process with court systems and everything, and then with the federal government approving or denying the request. Appeals can be submitted by the prisoner or any authority figure such as state or federal officers. Mercy and clemency can only be deemed necessary by the President of the United States. And statistical informations, percentage of death sentences since 1999, the death penalty has dramatically decreased from 295 cases in 1999 to 42 cases in 2018. This is per the federal death penalty at deathpenaltyinfo.org. Mental and intellectual disabilities. The APA, AMA, the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, and the American Bar Association has endorsed resolutions calling for an exemption of the mentally ill. And in 2002, the Supreme Court held in Atkins, Virginia, that is unconstitutional to execute defendants with mental retardation. So, you go to bed. Your wife or husband decides they're going to kill you. And they're asleep. And they plead insanity. They don't get the charge. So guess what? In my personal, professional opinion, this should be information that is documented by a provider or a doctor that they would see on a regular basis, such as a PCP. Or even if they don't have the money to go to the PCP, the OBGYN. Some kind of medical provider should have some kind of knowledge of what's going on here. The top 3 states for death row exonerations are Florida, Illinois, and Texas. So, as far as the crimes, what has to happen in order for them to get put on death row? Florida, first-degree murder with aggravating factors, felony murder. Illinois, there's no regulation to be put on death row. Not that I could find anyways, and I did some research on it. And in Texas, criminal homicide with one of 9 aggravating circumstances. Currently, as of December 31st, 2018, Florida has 28 inmates for execution. Illinois has 21 inmates for execution. and Texas has 13 inmates for execution. The capital or corporal punishment offered by individual states by the federal government will aid in security and safety of the nation as a state and a whole nation. Statistics show that percentage of death penalty rates have dramatically decreased, giving more room for proper investigation in crimes that are punishable by the offenses committed. Meaning that we're not just giving the ultimatum to people that we don't think deserve it. As a death sentence is a probable outcome, it has not lowered the homicide rate, and we as a nation should be aware of our surroundings at all times, especially our children's, as the homicide rates have remained the same from 2016 to current. Now, I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. I grew up in Dallas. It wasn't my neighbor, but about 2 or 3 blocks away from me was a man in a very high-end area of town that murdered his wife and his kids in front of each other. I knew this man. Never in my life would I ever have thought that he would have been capable of something of this nature. I knew this man. And he pled insanity. He wasn't insane. He was not insane. Just sit on that for a minute and think about it. It hit me like a freight train when I understood what it meant. He's still living a wonderful life. He's had more children, and he's gotten remarried. And my thoughts are with her and her family. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful evening.